Hull Kingston Rovers ground, where Warrington are the visitors tonight. They have also had 1 minute's silence there. July the 1st, 1916. A date that will never, or should never, ever be forgotten. James Child is the match referee here at the A.J. Bell Stadium. And what a big game it is for the players. What a big game it is for the referee as well. And he has been on top form just lately, has James Child. He has taken control of some big matches. Well, we're just about ready to get underway here. They are now underway in the sunshine, you notice, in East Yorkshire. Hull KR against Warrington. We'll be keeping tabs on that one throughout the course of proceedings here. Big game for Warrington. And a big game too for Hull Kingston Rovers. A dress rehearsal for what's to come in a month's time, when Wembley will be the prize. Here at Salford, we're about to get underway. Luke Gale of Castleford gets us going, and it is an intriguing 80 minutes that lie ahead.
Yeah, nervous times for both these sides. They're fully aware how important those 2 league points are tonight. It's all about just getting themselves organised. We saw last night that Huddersfield completely shut down the Hull FC side, and this should be very, very close indeed.
Well, there's no margin for error for Salford, that's for sure, and they've had a 2-week break. Castleford involved in the cup tie against Wigan 6 days ago, so the Red Devils should be fresher.
I think you're right, Mike. It does on paper appear to be a very even contest. I was sat with Brian Carney before the game and looking at both teams, hard to tell which one on paper was the stronger. And you would suspect at this stage we're going to get a game similar to the one played on this ground last year, just over 12 months ago. The Tigers won 22 points to 20. It was a classic. And the ingredients here set with the incentive for both of these teams that we're going to get that again here tonight.
First kick coming in from Gareth O'Brien was well fielded by Luke Dawn, and here's the first penalty of the night. James Child blowing the whistle to catch Salford offside. That won't be the start that Tim Sheens or Ian Watson wanted.
No, a little bit over enthusiastic as they get out, and you get that in the opening 5 minutes. You just want to get in, make sure you get the first big hit, get the adrenaline running through your body. But you've got to make sure you just keep an eye on the official.
Well, they didn't, and that's why Castleford now are camped inside the Salford Red Devils half, with Mike McMeekin, who plays the ball to McShane. When there's a little fumble then from Danny Tickle. Managed to hang on though. We played again to McShane. Oh, that's a good hit by Lon Patrick, but it was touched by the Salford man, and so
that's a bad pass.
Touched as well, so that's play on.
Yeah, Caden Brown got a hand to it. Well, a bit unfortunate there, Caden Brown. He didn't realise that the ball was coming through. He got a hand at the last minute. Real pressure here, and you'll see that the winger just gets it. Well, I'm not so sure.
Well, it's 6 to go, and we're up to the second tackle of this latest set, and Castleford are 6-7 metres away from the line with Luke Gale, and Gale spreads it wide and finds Luke Dawn. He's good on his feet, Dawn, as we know. Releases the pass and gives it to James Webster. Webster is surrounded by I beg your pardon, James Webster's the Hull Kingston Rovers coach. Jake Webster, who is the player here for Castleford. This is a pass from Luke Gale that goes forward into the arms of Lon Patrick, and so all that pressure comes to naught.
Well, you can see him doing the dummy there. He just held on a little bit too long. And I think that Luke Gale was looking for someone to come back on the inside to try to just create a gap. He just held onto it a split second far too long.
Well, Salford have certainly passed the first test, and Huddersfield did that repeatedly last night. Teams will obviously get close to an opposition try line. The Tigers just 10 metres away from where they needed to be, but defending the area of try line is the essential aspect in this game here tonight. Both teams will be challenged in that part of the field, and the best one at defending from there, I think, will go home with 2 really important points.
Well, there's nothing to choose between the two sides in attack. Castleford have scored 86 tries, Salford have scored 85, but the Tigers have conceded more tries than any other team in Super League so far this year. 94. It's an average of 5 per game, and Salford looking to post the first try of the night here, but they're stranded on the halfway line at the moment. And that was Mason Caton Brown who got the ball, had to play the ball. That was a pass from Craig Kopchak, the man on his inside. And that was then Dobson with the left-footed kick high into the air. The ball spiralling everywhere. It's claimed by Monaghan.
Yeah, good take on the pressure there.
Well, we haven't seen it too many times. That's the first kick Michael Dobson has put in. There's an injury to a Castleford player.
It's Joe Monaghan.
When I was talking to Michael Dobson before the start of this game, he said the kicking game is imperative. Now, we've seen 4 seasons in one day as we see a replay, and we'll perhaps see where the injury to Joe Monaghan occurs. It doesn't look a bit difficult on that view, but he's certainly in some distress. Rain will come. It's a little windy as well. We've seen sunshine as well, and teams will have to change on the hop. They'll have to adapt the game, but I feel Salford have already addressed this. Here's the injury. Is it a knee injury?
I think it's something with the shoulder or the arm or the ribs, but anyway, it obviously is a major problem here for Joel Monaghan, and that will be a blow for Castleford with Denny Solomona being off the field tonight. And well, Darryl Powell, you see what that news means to him. His face tells its own story. It's not gone well injury-wise for Castleford this year.
And you can see he started the game with all the bandage in, and that could be a broken finger. Let's hope it's not too serious. Composure is going to play a big part in this game tonight. We saw there with Castleford, they got to get into a good position and then game on with the forward pass. You don't have to score on every set of 6, but it's important that you sit down and camp in the opposition danger zone.
Big hit on Danny Tickle. Good hit too by Craig Kopchak. This is Luke Gale. Angled kick. And it just skips away from Gareth O'Brien, but a good kick nonetheless. He picks up right in his own goal line.
Eddie, I'd go far as to say that was a perfect kick. Where you can get the ball to sit on the try line there from that distance. You just got to hope that your teammates chase it with all the enthusiasm they have in the 5th minute of the match, and then hopefully gain that ground and apply the pressure. Interesting challenge here now for Mike McMeekin. If you've watched the Castleford side this year, you might have seen him play. Where's number 12? Usually in the second row. Big lad, and he's had a great year, but so early now he's had to shift from playing second row. He's playing right centre and faced Josh Griffin, so that's a little more difficult for him. He'll have to do a bit more thinking, certainly in terms of the defensive decisions he has to make.
Well, it's another return kick from Salford Red Devils, but not quite so accurate from Gareth O'Brien. It's a 20-metre restart for the Tigers. Luke Dawn then gets it away, and he gets the ball into the arms of Paddy Flynn.
Well, the one thing that both coaches will be very pleased with is the kick and chase game. Salford we saw on that occasion very, very quickly. That's good running from the dummy half.
And a high shot from Flanagan, was it? Oh, not standing square, the markers.
Yeah, and that was brought about. That was wonderful play by Luke Gale. He knew that they were struggling to get 1 and 2. Look as he gets to it there and is away. He knows as soon as he touches him.
Jake Webster's a good job though. He's a powerful runner of the ball, but his speed and haste to play that ball gives Luke Gale the chance.
Well, we're hearing from Sky sources that the news of Rangi Chase's move to Castleford is on. So Rangi Chase returns to Castleford. Of course, he played for Salford, didn't he? Went to Lee and was let go by Lee earlier this season in the Championship. He's back in Super League with immediate effect on a 2.5-year contract, we understand.
Well, that's a great boost, isn't it, for the Tigers, that is for sure, but they're going to put more pressure on this Salford side. You can't let this guy run across like that.
A good ball to Webster, and Webster cuts inside. The Salford defence will have to be careful. Robert Louis was, with a little bit of help from Josh Jones. McShane off the ground to Gale. That ricocheted off a Salford foot, and well, they couldn't resist. It's picked up in an offside position, penalty to the Castleford Tigers.
Well, that's unusual. Did he move the foot or did the ball hit the man? Either way, the visitors, Castleford, will not, and they're going to take a quick tap. And this is where I talk about it, Eddie, is that, you know, camp down there. Don't panic and try to score on every play.
Well, Nathan Massey gets up and plays the ball after the first tackle 5 metres away. Here is Gale. He finds Luke Dawn. Dawn gets the ball away to Webster again, and Webster goes over for the first try for the Red Devils. Jake Webster. A late withdrawal from the side against Wigan in the Cup last week. That's his 11th try of the season, the first time into double figures in 5 years when he was at Hull Kingston Rovers. And Jake Webster has given the Castleford Tigers the perfect start on the back of a couple of silly penalties, really, that Salford have given away.
Yeah, this is the kick where, well, I don't think that he played at it. They were lucky to get away with that. He was stood in front. I thought the ball played the man.
It doesn't really matter, Steve-O. It was picked up in front of him.
Luke Dawn loves coming into that three-quarter line. You can see how he pulled the defensive line, and there was nothing going to stop Jake Webster.
They've had beautiful shape throughout this opening 8 minutes or so, and whenever they've looked to spread that ball, they've had players in space running hard, and Luke Dawn held that pass up beautifully just to release the centre, Jake Webster, who's too powerful, and the size and strength of the big man took him over.
Yes, he's been a New Zealand international 8 times in his career as Jake Webster. And here now is Luke Gale, the man who agreed a 5-year extension to his contract at Castleford only last month. And I bet when the news reaches the players, although I bet that the news has already reached the players, that Rangi Chase is coming back, well, Darryl Powell and Luke Gale will be quite excited.
You can't have too many good players, but the challenge for Darryl Powell will be to fit Rangi Chase into the brilliant team that they've developed at Castleford in the last couple of seasons, mixing alongside the likes of Luke Gale here, who's having a great time, and I'm sure encouraged to pass the ball to the left, because at the moment Jake Webster's got the better of Junior Sal.
Rangi Chase, of course, winning the Man of Steel when he was at Castleford, and with Luke Gale alongside him, it could be a formidable combination in the First Utility Super League. Webster's try improved by Gale. They lead 6-0.
Well, if you watch at the last minute, the centre, the one man in from the right of the Salford, he turns his hips, there, he's in now, and he's lost. In that split second, the chance to prevent that tie is over. Try is gone, I should say, and Jake Webster's crashed over. He made that look easy, didn't they? Second play after a tap penalty. Salford need to improve on that.
Yeah, he just hesitated, didn't he? The centre, Junior Sal, can't afford to do it. And it just shows you the importance of the fullback Luke Dawn. He really knows when to come onto the scene, and the offload was superb.
Well, Oliver Holmes is on the field now. They'd be glad to see him back. He was back as a substitute for the first time in 2 years against Wigan last week. He'd been out for 9 previously with a knee injury.
Yeah, he went through the horrors, didn't he, Darryl Powell, with so many injuries, and slowly but surely they're getting themselves sorted out.
I think it's remarkable where they are in the league when you consider that Andy Lynch, one of the best players, Ben Roberts, one of the best players, Michael Shenton, one of the best players, has missed so much of this season. It's remarkable that they've been as competitive as they have. They've done a great job.
Luke Gale, been at the heart of things. His kick, though, this time, it came off the leg of Greg Johnson. He was able to pick it up, but he's going towards that touchline, which is a little bit risky, to say the least.
He just stepped and made sure he spun around, but it was good position, though, by Greg Johnson.
Junior Sal with a bustling run, typical.
And I'm not so sure that Darryl Powell would have been happy with that kick. It really should have gone into the corner. It was virtually straight to the winger Johnson.
Good quick play the ball. Here is Josh Jones, and offside against Castleford, who've got 4 wins away from home this year so far, better than the 3 that they've got on their own midden.
Good work by Logan Tompkins there. Look how he just scoots away from the dummy half, and you could see there was 2 or 3 players that had made no attempt to get back onto that 10 metres.
On the foot, Oliver, wait.
So a penalty to Salford. Can they make hay from this, just as Castleford did from a couple of penalties a few minutes ago?
Well, it's the first opportunity that Michael Dobson, should I say, can sort things out. That's a nice little short pass, but great defence.
Yes, Ben Murdoch-Masilla could see the line, was on his way to it. Logan Tompkins finds Robert Louis. He then gives the ball to his prop forward colleague George Griffin, who releases the pass to Flanagan, who plays the ball to Tompkins. Here is Louis again. Louis with a little drop-off ball to Ben Murdoch-Masilla again. And he's been very difficult to stop from that range this year. Tompkins to Louis, comes wide again here, out the back door.
That's an old
then. It is a knock-on.
Well spotted there by James Child.
Mike McMeekin's passed his first test, defending outside. Ben Crook's playing on the wing, and as this ball goes loose, Mike McMeekin just turns up. Great job by the big fella.
But it's a knock-on by Castleford that the referee James Child has ruled. It is head and feed to Salford.
Yeah, they've ruled that Crooks knocked the ball out, and that resulted in a knock-on.
Well, I must say the defence, Eddie, of the Castleford standoff, Tom Holmes, has been pretty strong. Their coach, Daryl Powell, puts him on this right-hand side in defence. Doesn't work down the middle, but there's an opportunity.
Big chances here for Greg Johnson, but that's a good play from Paddy Flynn. He shut them out towards the sideline, and he had to come back inside to Johnson. Took the tackle. Now here's Jones again. Solid defence from McShane and Tickle. A quick play of the ball though. Robert Louis looks for Dodson, looks for the runner. It's O'Brien, and Gareth O'Brien goes through the Castleford defence and gets their first try of the night after 13 minutes. Gareth O'Brien. Well, he had a 2-game loan spell, did O'Brien, at Castleford 3 years ago, and he's the goal kicker as well. Is Gareth O'Brien, the former Warrington man. In fact, his last Warrington appearance produced a try and 4 goals in a victory at Castleford in July of last year.
And as you can see, there was good pressure there, Webster, and it was just touched by Ben Crooks. Made sure that they got the possession. And watch how the fullback, Gareth O'Brien, comes right onto Michael Dobson. Throws a dummy. They had the numbers there, but the dummy was strong enough. They just hesitated, and that's where they fell apart. Should have got him, had the chance, missed him.
You know, this tries the reason why I like to watch Salford play rugby. From the scrum eddy, they passed the ball to the right wing, they stretched the Castleford defence, then they brought it back to the left-hand side. Players moving at full speed, stretching defenders, having them running backwards, making decisions, and eventually Gareth O'Brien went through. Salford are good to watch given that opportunity. I really enjoy the way they've played under Ian Watson and his colleagues this season.
Yeah, and you've been a fan of Salford for a few years now, haven't you?
Well, I have. But a few people laughed at me as we just wait to watch this kick here with Gareth O'Brien, and I'll pick you up on that point.
OK, O'Brien with the conversion attempt, trying to draw it back over the posts, and can't manage, just goes the wrong side. So they stay behind, but only by 2 points. OK.
Yeah, a couple of years ago I did tip Salford to get to the grand finals. We get another example of team play, moving it at speed. You know, I made the decision because there was a strong rumour in Australia that a coach was going to, who was suspended from the NRL for 12 months, come over and take charge of Salford. His name was Shane Flanagan. He's not doing that bad at the moment because the team he coaches currently sits at the top of the NRL. So that was the reason I went on a wild card. I thought maybe they would get him here, but at the time Marwan Kukash couldn't get him to commit, and my prediction never came off.
See, rumours and counter-rumours in this game.
You don't win anything with rumours.
Well, Phil, just looking at this team and this battle tonight, there's some wonderful little matchups. Junior South against Jake Webster on the far side, away from us. And Ben Murdoch-Masilla and Junior Moores. You watch how many times those two partnerships, those two duos meet in a contest.
That was an attempted 40-20 by Robert Louis, and it runs dead in goal. I think we've got news of Joel Monaghan. He was taken off injured. Angela Powers.
Yes, we do, Eddie. He came off the pitch in some pain, as you saw. It looks like he's suffered a dislocated left shoulder. His mum and dad have been in the changing room with him, and I've been speaking to them. They say he's fine, but in quite a bit of pain, and at this stage it doesn't look like we'll see him again in the game.
Now that looks like the end of Joel Monaghan's night then.
Yeah, and it didn't look as though he went to ground all that heavily, but he obviously must have gone in quite awkward onto it.
I think there was a player that fell on him, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe the arm was...
Before that, Eddie, I think there's a player underneath him. Somebody hits him, he goes down and his arm is forced upwards at the same time when he's still on his feet. But now Castleford have got to cope without him as Tom Hopes ships it on here. But look, good speed from Salford. They're moving forward and they're stopping the momentum that Castleford again on that last play.
So their two first-choice wingers tonight, Solomona out before the match, and now Monaghan follows him to the sidelines.
Oh, that's a huge error.
That's a huge, as you rightly say, huge error, and then that will come back. Will it?
It was ball backward from Castleford. I think that's what the referees determined.
Castleford played the ball, there wasn't a Salford player in there.
Was it Mike McMeekin who chased hard? Jumps up, yes, right hand taps it back according to the ref. He's close to the nose and Massey picks up.
And that wasn't a knock on there then, no either. So, okay, it looked like a big error by O'Brien, and Steve-o, we have to take that back then. Gulp.
Do you know, their attitude looks good tonight, Castleford. I think Salford are doing their best to match them, but whenever you see a team defend, if they're defending with the same energy they have with the ball, it's a good sign if you're a fan and a coach of that side.
Well, a lot of defensive work comes from Oliver Holmes as well. He really is a key figure in this Tiger outfit. That's not a bad kick either. Will it be a bit too strong? Yes. No, it won't. It's amazing what a rugby league ball can do.
Ben Crooks has got a bit of work to do here. He gets to the 10-metre line okay, but they have moved up quickly, and Adam Wan, the substitute, number 15 on the field, he led the charge with Ben Murdoch-Masilla.
And a good
Flynn nowhere to go.
And a good chase, wasn't it, there by Salford?
Release Logan, wait.
There's been a highlight on both sides, and well, the referee's given him the benefit of the doubt. I think he was just off balanced. He really has to just move away from the play the ball area.
Wait.
This is Danny Tickle. Gets to his feet, plays it to McShane. Junior Moores.
Play on, 3.
Great offload. He finds McShane.
He's in top form, isn't he? The second row, Junior Moores. He not only gets through a lot of hard work, his ability to just fend off, and he's lost his temper. It's handbags has gone on in there.
Well, Mark Flanagan took exception to the fact that McShane's legs were flailing as he tried to regain his feet.
Well, Mark Flanagan's not the type of player to lose his composure, but as soon as he gets kicked, he goes right back in, and he's got a little bit of red sweat coming from his nose, so he's caught one from somewhere.
Keep going away.
Well, the legs flying all over the place, weren't they?
There it is.
There it is, yeah.
Ooh,
and it's
nasty,
yeah, that's it. It's the studs that's gone right down and scraped the nose of Flanagan, and I'm not surprised he didn't like it.
Well, the first offence has to be the kick off the ground. You know, as a tackle player, you can't just flare your legs about in that way, because it is dangerous, and that's why. I mean, you know, there's no reason for him to do that.
Paul McShane's head and vision, he doesn't know where those legs are going, but you're quite right, that could be dangerous. But not too much intent in it, I don't think.
Yeah, it is an accidental strike, but you made contact with the head. Penalty goes against it. Sorry, my apologies.
Called the wrong player out then.
Well, they look very similar.
They do. Both bald, one's got a beard and one hasn't. Devil's in the detail, James Child.
Well, we all know that the players that are being tackled, they like to wriggle around to try to convince a referee that they're being held down.
He's fighting to play his ball quick, Paul McShane, in his defence, but he's got that wrong, and his side have suffered.
They have suffered because the penalty has put Salford very much on the front foot here with Mason Caton Brown. His only other appearance this year was in the 26-24 win at Huddersfield on Easter Monday, Mason Caton Brown. To say it's been a stop-start season for him is the understatement of the season so far. Kopjak goes down. Logan Tompkins waits at dummy half. They come down the left-hand side with Dobson, then to Murdoch-Masilla.
It could have been obstruction there.
It could have been because Josh Griffin was in the mix. Now they go back to centre field, and it's with Dobson again. Here is Robert Louis. He gets it away to Jones.
Good tackle there by Luke Gale. Hatterby as well. Right round the ankles.
Louis once more slides the kick in, looking for Dobson. Finds Dobson brilliantly.
Tremendous
checking
stuff.
that he was onside, and he was. And so Michael Dobson crowns his 200th Super League appearance with his 4th try of the season. He has played 10 times for the Catalan Dragons, 14 times for Wigan, 142 times for Hull Kingston Rovers. This is his 34th appearance for Salford, over 1,500 Super League points. And the man who's in the dream team twice has come up with a try here that pushes Salford ahead.
Silly play by Paul McShane. You can see lashed out there. Flanagan didn't like it, but he'll like it even more now because it's wonderful play. Beautiful kick by his partner Robert Louis, and the halfback takes a wonderful kick from the standoff. Superb stuff. This is no fluke. This is something they practiced on the training ground. He knew exactly what to do. Boy, that was great play.
As he had the ball in 2 hands, Robert Louis looked to his left. He saw his half-back partner in the blocks, ready to sprint. 5-6 minutes ago, we saw Luke Dawn And Luke Gale trying to do a similar thing, but it was wonderful execution. And 6, possibly 4 points for the Red Devils.
Well, he missed with the first one, didn't he? Out on the wing, but this is a lot easier for a kicker of O'Brien's quality. And he makes sure that he doesn't miss that one. So Salford have hit the front. It's now 10 points to 6. 21 minutes gone.
It's further evidence that Salford are an intelligent and an inventive team. I said before the match, Eddie, when you look at the for and against on the league table, only 3 teams have a better record going into this round. They've really done well, even though the results haven't always gone the way. They've lost 1 or 2 close games. They've shown here in this opening quarter of this match they're a capable side of easily playing against teams inside the top 8.
5 wins from 9 at home. It could have so easily been 7 wins at home. Remember the 2 30-31 defeats here against Warrington and Huddersfield. Well, there's a bit of a party going on in Perpignan tomorrow night, I bet, because they have a massive function taking place in Perpignan after the match. The Catalan Dragons against Wigan. 5 minutes to 5 on Sky Sports 1 to mark the 10th anniversary of the Dragons' life in the Super League. And of course their very first fixture was against Wigan all those years ago.
Back in February 2006, Eddie Meates, Bill Arthur, we were over there at the beginning of the week, and my word, they put some work and effort into that. I'm sure it's going to be a huge celebration. I'm looking forward to the match as well.
Yes, looking forward to the match. You'll be calling it, Barry, and so will Terry and Bill. And we will have a big preview of what you've been up to in Perpignan this week when we have finished here, at least the bits that we can show a family audience.
I wondered why you were looking at me with your eyebrows raised then. All work, Eddie, I promise.
Did you enjoy the cassoulet, Barry? That's what we need to know.
We worked our socks off, Eddie. Wonderful people, very welcoming, and lots of ex-players, including Steve Menzies and players of that ilk, so they could show a lot of clubs how to be classy and how to celebrate.
Big problem there. It looks as though Jake Webster has picked up a knock. He's been treated in back play now. He's trying to get back into a defensive position.
Well, he'll be helped, Steve-O, by the fact that his coach has just made a triple substitution. We don't often see that in rugby league, 3 players coming on, all at exactly the same time. Darryl Powell must feel that his side needs an injection of enthusiasm and energy at this point in the match.
Paddy, move! Keep coming.
Yes, so he's made the changes he thinks will be necessary. Darryl Powell, he has to defend here, or his team have to defend this little run from Junior Sow, and they do.
Well, the Castleford coach realises that they're being caught out with quick play the balls by the Salford side. They're getting up off the floor. Good runs from dummy half, and they're getting out wide as well. So that's pretty solid defence.
There's nowhere for Josh Griffin to go. Josh Griffin, who's off to Hull in 2017. Murdoch Masilla taking it to the 40-metre line. Down he goes in tackle number 5. So last one here. Will it be a kick from Dobson? It's with him again. It goes high and long. Maybe a bit too long, but it means that Luke Dawn has to chase. And it was too long. One bouncing out.
Yeah, it was a little bit under pressure there, Luke Dawn. He thought perhaps it might... it looked as though he was going to hit the post. He didn't get himself into a pretty good position to defuse it.
Paddy Flynn goes down under the challenge of Josh Jones. Luke Gale comes into centre field. Here is one of the 3 substitutions Phil was talking about. Grant Millington. Adam Milner there, the number 9. He's the other. And Big Gadwin Springer, who's on the right here. They've gone left to Massey. And he then finds Dawn, who finds Webster, who looked like he was struggling a minute or 2 ago, but isn't any longer.
Come on, Josh.
Play the ball there to Paddy Flynn. Now it's with Luke Gale. He gives it to Oliver Holmes. They'll be delighted to see Oliver Holmes back after that 9-match run where he had to miss because of injury. Milner, good run from him.
And the reason they've changed the front row, the entire front row, including Adam Milner, is they feel they're losing the play of the ball, and the speed is being dictated by the defensive technique of Salford Red Devils.
Crossfield kick, not the best that he's put in all year from Luke Gale, still on the last. McMeekin held on to it, got it back to Gale. His kick again is not most convincing, and Gareth O'Brien has it.
Tremendous play by O'Brien. Anticipating, they were under a little bit of a pressure. They realised that Gale had to get the kick away, but O'Brien it was as though he had the radar system on work.
This is Josh Griffin again, another man who's coming back into the side after a long absence out for Salford. He's missed the last 7. He's played against Hull KR on April the 30th. Mark Flanagan now. And this is a fellow who's only missed 2 of his debut year with the Salford Red Devils. Louis gets the ball away to Josh Jones again. Good tackling by Gale, finished off by Oliver Holmes. Junior Sow, Louis will drill the ball all on the ground. Bounces off the knee of Luke Dawn, and I believe we're going down to Angela Powers.
Yes, Eddie, on the wing here, doing the touchline duties tonight is Jack Smith, the ex-Marine turned rugby league touch judge. Well, tonight he's got something to celebrate because on Monday his wife Stacey gave birth to Joss, their second son. He's been busy this week, but he's definitely alert tonight on the touchline. Congratulations to Jack, and look out in the future. We've done an in-depth interview with Jack about his life in the Marines when he was shot and injured, had to give up his life in the armed forces and became one of the latest, greatest new imports into rugby league. Look out for that one.
And look out here because Jake Webster's on the charge. He gets the ball away to Oliver Holmes. That was touched. It's 0. Touched by Mason Caton Brown. This is Webster again. They've got 6 to go. Castleford from here. Milner is a dummy half. Back it comes to Gale. Floating pass off the knees and backwards, fortunately for Junior Moores. He finds McMeekan. Well, McMeekan then gives the ball to our cameraman.
Well, he's blaming the winger, but I tell you what, McMeekan, it was a shocking offload there. They got a little bit of a luck. Great work by Jake Webster. As you say, 4 or 5 minutes ago, it was a shocking offload. 4 to 5 minutes ago, it looks as though Jake Webster looks as though he might be leaving the field of play. No, look at this. This is wonderful. Kept his cool back on the inside. And there's the knock-on from the Salford player. And then, that was a shocking offload.
The Salford showed the determination of a team with a real cause to play for at the moment. Okay, they are sitting outside the top 8, but the way they got back here after the line was broken and prevented the try being scored. Okay, there was a little luck. The misdirected pass from Castleford gave them that extra time to cover the gaps, but that really was a good team effort to prevent 6 points being scored.
It looks a little bit sloppy from McMeekan, but he's a back rower. Ben Crooks is a centre, and I'm guessing by the way he was holding that ball with one hand, he wanted Ben Crooks to come back inside. That run, that angle didn't come, and that's why it looked as sloppy as it did.
Tompkins then from inside the 40 goes from dummy half for an attempted 40-20, but it doesn't make that, but it's not a bad kick just the same.
That was tremendous play there by the hooker.
And a great chase led by Robert Louis.
It's amazing how much energy you can put in a player's legs if you kick the ball so well. Gareth O'Brien kicked one that went 65 metres and his team followed up. Now we've seen another second effort from it. And territorially, Salford are just about starting to win this contest.
Well, it's a kicking game, and the kick and chase has been outstanding from Salford over the last 15 minutes. And that's where you find a lot of the Castleford players, and well, they're finding it difficult to get their breath back, and having to go backwards and forwards all the time with this kicking game. Great tactics there by Ian Watson.
Judy Moores gets Castleford over halfway, and it's the last tackle, so Gale will drill the kick towards the corner. Another great kick from Gale, that.
Another beauty. We've got 2 fine kickers. There's a good shot as well from Adam Milner. I alluded to it. What he did, it was a good shoulder contact, but I alluded to it. Michael Dobson has said that they've been working on the kicking game all week, and they were trying to pin Salford, should I say, pin Castleford even, and make it really difficult for them to gain those metres.
There's Dobson again with a kick, and he goes angled this time, but it ends up coming straight down the middle.
This is dangerous, Eddie. This is dangerous. There's a fatigue and fractured Salford line trying to chase this. This guy can do some damage.
Yes, he can. He got the ball away to Paddy Flynn, and Paddy Flynn eludes the challenge of Louis, but he can't get away from the next man in, who was Greg Johnson.
That surprised me. Michael Dobson kicking on only the 3rd tackle. I would have thought that he would like to rumble the forwards and then get to the halfway line, then get the kick away.
Well, he's viewing that possession is more important. Position is more important than possession.
Actually, will play the ball. Milner to Millington. And here is Junior Moores again, and they've done their homework about this fellow, Junior Moores. He's having a heck of a season. Really is.
Well, you'll see the technique from Salford in that defence when every time Junior Moores gets possession, they won't bother with his legs. They make sure that he can't offload.
Luke Dawn here. There's the red danger signs flashing. What a pass!
Beautiful.
What
Brilliant.
a pass into the arms of Jake Webster, who crashes over for his 2nd try of the match. But Luke Dawn, he's 34 years young tomorrow, This is his final season. He hangs up the boots, he says, at the end of 2016. They will miss him, will Castleford, and that was sheer poetry. That little ball inside. Brilliant pass, great try. Scores a level.
Yeah, he doesn't have to travel a far distance to become an absolute perler of a pass. The link coming through, look how he throws a dummy, and that inside, Webster read it ever so well. That is top quality, top class, and out of the top drawer.
Well, Robert Lewis, from the minute Luke Dawn has his hands on this ball, he's in all kinds of trouble. And there's a big wide open space, but let's not detract from the skill and lovely work ethic of Webster as well. If he doesn't make the effort to get into that space, then that ball hits the deck. You just see Robert Louis grasping, trying to make up the space, trying to prevent that offload. But that's just lovely stuff.
Well, here's a kick to put the Castleford Tigers back in front. 10 apiece it is now. Just over half an hour gone, and Luke Gale has kicked one already tonight. Can he kick another here? Scored points in 20 of his 22 games now this year, and he adds 2 more points to the Castleford total. They edge ahead as we approach half-time. Great try from Webster. What about the pass?
Well, I said before the game, these two teams are probably the two most entertaining to watch in this competition. There aren't many sides, I don't know many players or coaches who would encourage the team to do that. The Castleford side seem to have that faith and belief in one another. They'll take a chance and they'll make sure and demonstrate that their skill is sufficient to help them score.
Well, let me just tell you that once we've finished here tonight, we'll have Chapter 2 of NRL The Rookie. There is an NRL contract on the line for whoever wins this competition. It's beginning this weekend of a long series, and it leading to a final later on in August, when somebody will pick up an NRL contract down under in Australia. Great prize.
Yeah, lucrative, isn't it? But, you know, it's a shame that Luke Dawn is going to be leaving our game, because his vision through over the years has been absolutely wonderful to watch.
Well, Steve, if the news is correct of Rangi Chase's arrival, that could be the role that Daryl Paul gives him. Some space at the back, whether he plays at 6 or fullback. Ben Roberts might be given the fullback spot, but they've got some threats with the ball, Castleford, and they're allowed to express themselves.
There's Luke Gale, thumps the ball down the middle. I think this will be too long, unless it hits the post padding. It doesn't. It almost gets to the mascot.
And sometimes, you know, that is a tactic. It wasn't just a bad kick. He knows that they can get them lined up on that 30 metres and then keep the pressure on, providing that the defence is solid. And it usually is from Gadwin Springer.
Pretty tight at Hull KR and Warrington, 0-0. As Warrington look to close the gap on Hull at the top of the table. Hull KR doing their neighbours a favour thus far, and their own confidence, of course, giving it a real boost. A real boost for the Cup semi-final. There's the young ex-Warrington hooker Sean Kenny on the field. Just played the ball there for Salford. Here he is, standing at dummy half, 34 on his back. He is highly rated by everyone at Warrington. Couldn't get into the first team, and Ian Watson listened to the words of wisdom from his former Welsh teammate Lee Breers, who gave him a glowing reference apparently, and that's why he's here at Salford now.
And he's pretty good from the dummy half position as well. He's got plenty of speed. They've got to keep an eye on this fella, Luke Dawn. He throws that dummy, and he does it so slowly that it confuses the defence many times.
Keep coming away. Go
6 minutes from the half-time siren. 2 points in it. Castleford are ahead.
Hold.
Castleford in possession as well. Mac Meakin will take them to the halfway line, and just over that halfway line.
Yeah, good run as well. And I must say that Daryl Powell did the right thing. He realised that he needed a little bit more momentum out there. And that's the reason why he's thrown out Adam Milner. He really has sparked the Tigers.
The kick here from Luke Gale goes high. And it's spiralling, and O'Brien's underneath it.
Oh dear.
Ben Crooks came in a little bit ferociously then. But that's great to see. He apologises to O'Brien, and O'Brien just pats him on the back.
Yeah, I think the first contact is on the chest, isn't it? But it does go up into the into the head, which is why the penalty's being given.
Well, the shoulder makes contact with the head, and
okay, he made contact with the head. He was off the shoulder.
He knew straight away that he had sinned.
Turn back on.
And he puts his hand up immediately, and as I say, he apologised to Gareth O'Brien.
Stuart, surely that was 10 minutes.
Well, I don't think so. I think the fact that he's got his arm around the chest, I think if he goes straight to the head, then it's a straight dismissal. You know, no 10 minutes in it for me there.
Well, it's neither. He's still out there, is Ben Crooks. And a clap of the hands from Sean Kenny. He's anxious to get his Super League career up and running here, and he's scampering in once again to dummy half. And Waln is the man who plays the ball to him. This now is Louis. He gets the ball away, and it's Josh Jones who disappears under that challenge, 30 metres away from the Castleford line. Here is Louis again. Now that was the other Waln, gives it to Louis, and Murdoch Masilla. We've got Adam and Jordan Waln out there on the field now. That will confuse you, Steve-O.
Yeah, it certainly will. But Robert Louis, you know, he's a good administrator, but from time to time he's got to ask a few questions. Take their defence on. They know he's just going to offload all the time.
He played the ball. This is Louis. Dabs it to the in-goal area. Ben Crooks with work to do. And he fails to get beyond Michael Dobson. Goal line dropout.
Yeah, good kick. Combination, Louis with the kick there, and Dobson. I'm sure that they couldn't get any further there. That's all about putting the pressure. And that's all they need. They know they've got to get back into this game. Okay, they're only 2 points adrift.
It's also about showing some patience. Robert Louis deciding that we don't have to score every time we have the ball. We can enjoy a little bit of possession and make Castleford do more defence than they're comfortable with.
Well, Salford, of course, they were in the middle eights last year as well. At the moment, depending on what happens next week with their appeal and a victory possibly here tonight, they might get out of the middle eights in 2016, but last year they battled it out with Lee, Bradford, Halifax and Sheffield from the Championship. They won 5 of 7 in the middle eights to make sure they would be back in Super League in 2016. And there's certainly a different feel to the Salford Red Devils in 2016, I must say. They've been playing really well, playing with great confidence at times, losing a bit unluckily, losing the narrow games. They won't want to lose another one here tonight. That's a great little run from Sean Kenny. He's not short of any confidence.
Well, Oliver Holmes took a player out without the ball. That could have been a penalty.
It was the other one. That was Jordan Wall. Here they are in the corner with Greg Johnson.
Fantastic defence. No, he's knocked on. This is certainly no try.
That's a try saver, Steve. I agree. Yep.
Sorry.
Although
I've got
referee,
no try. Just going to check the grounding, please.
Checking the grounding. The boys up here, Stuart, think it's a try-saving tackle.
Well, it certainly looked that way. Interestingly, it sounded like the toucher just said he thought it was a try, but James Child has gone for no tries. He sent it up. Does he get it down? No, he doesn't.
Great work.
Lost the ball.
Paddy Flynn's defence here has definitely saved the try. Just couldn't keep control of it, could it?
Would you be critical of the Salford centre junior serve, because he doesn't stand up, he's running towards the corner, he doesn't commit Paddy Flynn, so obviously he allows Flynn to switch off and then turn save a try as we see here. But
I'd rather compliment the defence, me, Phil. I think not only has Paddy Flynn got his shoulder in, he's kept his studs in and pushed Greg Johnson off the island, denying him the try. I think it's fabulous defence.
There's 2v1 attackers, you should score.
I don't think they have. I don't think they have. They haven't.
And that's the right decision. It's as simple as that. But it was good man-on-man defence as well. You could see there he wasn't sucked in.
I tell you what, that's a heck of a tackle from Paddy Flynn.
Is it ever?
Johnson is the barrel of a player. I mean, we talk about the strength and the weight and the speed of Justin Carney. They're not losing much in that department with Greg Johnson.
Well, Big Hits is back this week, so certainly that'll be a contender.
Well, both of them, you can see there the massive shoulder size.
Tuesday on the website to find Barry and Terry's biggest hits from this weekend's round of the First Utility Super League. Phil Clark 5, of course, is on a Monday. The best tries. Saw a couple last night. We've seen a couple tonight. That pass from Luke Dawn might squeeze its way into Phil's selection. We'll see.
Well, it should. It was excellent work, wasn't it?
Here is Gale. Massey. Just under 2 minutes away from half-time.
This has got to be a bomb.
Will get another go. goes up high off the boot of Gale. O'Brien gets away from Luke Dawn and then tries to do likewise from Tom Holmes.
This is safety first now from Salford. Okay, they're 2 points adrift, but they don't want to lose possession. This is up the jumper time. They'll be quite happy to go in at the break.
Sean Kenny again. Sean Kenny again. Well, he's only been on the field about 6 or 7 minutes, but he's showing up well.
That was an impact. He said a knock on. Oh, he's giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I think he was going to blow for a penalty for interference in the ruck, wasn't he?
Well, there was certainly two things he looked at. Interference, and it looked like maybe a knock on.
O'Brien drills the ball into touch. That's good play. It's taken him a wee while to form the scrum. Won't be long left after this in the first half.
No, as I say, they'll be okay. They won't be happy with the fact that they're not winning at half time.
Okay, let's get an update at Hull Kingston Rovers, and watching the match for us is Ben Pro.
Eddie 0-0, but the first real flashpoint. Ryan Bailey's been among it, as you might expect, but Jordan Cox has taken a punch from James Green. Jordan Cox, 65 Hull Kingston Rovers appearances, and playing for Warrington tonight, is floored by James Green, and only his second Super League game, Mike Woodhead has sent off James Green.
So drama then at Hull Kingston Rovers in Warrington. It's still 0-0, but Hull KR are down to 12 men for the remainder of that match. Here is Luke Dawn now. Oh, the ball has gone to ground. Johnson picks it up. Oh, and he has escaped the clutches. Little kick forward though, and dropping onto it gratefully is Paddy Flynn this time. The half-time siren had sounded in the background. So 0-0 up at Hull Kingston Rovers. Here we've had 22 points. Salford have scored 10 of them. The O'Brien try and the Dobson try, which O'Brien converted. That was after Webster had given Castleford the lead in the 8th minute. They were 6-0 up. And then Webster, just before half-time, he got the second try for him, the second try for Castleford, and Luke Gale.
Donaldson pounces from dummy half, converted by Ben Cockayne. Just underway second half, 6-0 Hull KR lead.
Hull KR ahead 6-0 against the Warrington Wolves. And let me hold my hands up. I've been talking all night about the Challenge Cup semi-final that's coming up between Hull Kingston Rovers and Warrington. I'm going back in time 12 months. Of course, it's Chris Chester at Wakefield who will be taking on the Warrington Wolves in that semi-final in a month's time. So my apologies for that. It just shows you, Steve-O, you know, age catches up with all of us.
Well, it does with some. The one thing that we've got to look out for is that Salford have got to really dig deep. They started out in the first 20 minutes of the first half, and their kick and chase game was good, and they were turning Castleford around, but you got to admire the way that the Tigers have fought back slowly but surely. And I think that it was a wonderful decision by Daniel Powell to bring on Adam Milner.
And that wasn't a bad decision by Junior Moores to give it to Tim Holmes, and Salford having to scramble back and bring Adam Milner to the ground. That was Dawn. Here is Holmes again, and Moores once more dabs the ball to the in-goal area. That's a great kick, grounded in his own in-goal by Mason Caton-Brown. Goal line dropout right at the start of the second half that Salford will have to defend.
Yeah, and it's all about putting the pressure on there, and it was good work by Ben Crooks. There was no way they were going to get out of it. And you've got to take your opportunity, and as Baz said in that first half, you know, you've got field position. Don't waste it. Don't panic. Don't try to keep the ball alive and score on every single occasion. Just wear the opposition down.
Let's go. Sail side.
Sun streaming down now as it sets to the west of this ground. And underneath the goal line dropout was Luke Gale. Here comes Grant Millington. Millington stands, being harassed by four of them. Down he goes eventually. Milner in the dummy half, and he finds Nathan Massey. Showed it to Gadwin Springer, who thought he was off himself on the way to the line. Held on to the ball though, took the tackle. We'll play it here to Milner. Now it's Springer's turn. The big, raw-boned French international youngster Gadwin Springer, 23 years of age, 4 French international caps. Tim Holmes, good ball forward though, forward to McMeekan.
He tried to use the dummy runner, and he just stepped back and then took a step forward. See how the dummy runner had to stop there, and it just hesitated just for that split second.
There's 3 halfbacks on the coaching staff of Castleford Tigers: Darryl Powell, Danny Orton, Ryan Sheridan. I'm sure as they continue to work with Tom Holmes, they'll talk to him about straightening up instead of, when he passes the ball, he's almost run behind it, so that forces the eye to think it's going forward. If he straightens up, commits defenders, keeps his hips facing towards the try line, it perhaps doesn't give the appearance of it being forward. That is a forward pass though.
It was a forward pass, and Mike McMeekin was injured in the crash tackle that came in on him. So a slight delay in restarting the match with the scrum. So let's go down to the touchline, join Angela Powers with the half-time news.
Thanks, Eddie. Ian Watson, the Salford coach, says so far so good. They're sticking to what they've practiced all week, but Castleford are causing them a few problems down their left, the Salford right, which they need to fix up in this game. They need to keep creating the chances, and they feel they might just get the result here. Darryl Powell from Castleford says it's a bit scrappy, a bit greasy out there because it's been raining all afternoon. But if they cut those errors out, they need to really concentrate on doing that. Still, if they stick to the game plan, it's working when they get it right. They could do with a bit more field position, he says. Get that right, it might cause a few problems. Off the field news, well, there will be an announcement tomorrow, and it's likely that Rangi Chase will be confirmed as a Castleford player again, with immediate start with options to extend that.
There you go, we brought you the news over an hour ago that Rangi Chase, right at the start of this match, is coming back to Castleford for the remainder of this season and the next 2 years. That's the hot news tonight from Castleford. Might be even hotter if Castleford hang on to this victory here. It would plunge Salford into a little bit of trouble despite the penalties next week that will have to be sorted out. Ben, more news of Hull KR.
That's right, Eddie. 7 gone second half, and Hull Kingston Rovers in again. Thomas Minns on the right hand side. They've extended the advantage. Cocaine couldn't have the extras, but they're ahead. Double figures now. Hull Kingston Rovers lead 10-0.
And of course Hull KR down to 12 men. So
it's amazing how things can turn out that way, Eddie. When you get a man sent off, they seem to dig deeper. Doesn't always happen, but it certainly is helping their cause.
Bang! Can we move? Hold Adam. Go. Outside.
Kicking from dummy half. It shows you Sean Kenny might only be fresh in the side, but he's inventive, this young man.
That's really, it's a great kick from him. I'm not taking anything away, but from a team's point of view, they didn't really get enough ground, Eddie, on that kick, and they're already in trouble.
They are in trouble. It's with Dawn. Maybe Robert Louis could have been penalised there for a second flop on the grounded player. This is Milner into centre field to Millington.
Well, Salford are finding it very difficult to stop the fullback Luke Dawn coming straight through, and it looks as though that
McMeekin's in trouble.
Yeah, they're taking him off. It's a wise move.
It's a costly evening in Salford for Castleford, even though they lead by 2 points. They've lost Joel Monaghan with a dislocated shoulder, we believe, and McMeekin now has limped his way out of the contest as well. But here they come with Luke Dawn, and this defence has opened up, and he's too quick for them. Luke Dawn, that's a magnificent try. Super try from Luke Dawn. Well, he's 34 years young tomorrow. He's decided he's going to hang up his boots. He could do a job for another couple of years the way he's playing this season. Yeah. Luke Dawn, great try.
Yeah, especially if he went down to the championship, that really would lift one of the teams. He's still got it, hasn't he? I know he's announced that he wants to give the game away, but when you've got quality like this, it's just a shame. I mean, the combination. See how the dummy runner came back on the inside, but the ability to just sway and run on the arc, the step. Look how he just gets the body away. There's nothing that O'Brien could do about that. A sensational try. Remember, it was a wonderful, wonderful pass that got wet to the try just before the half-time break. But that is sheer quality.
Well, from the Salford perspective, we just see the rain coming down. Robert Louis again was in all kinds of trouble. He come in trying to fix something that perhaps wasn't his job to fix. I'd rather look at it from a Castleford point of view. I think they've done a fabulous job on him tonight. They've thrown too many questions at him, and he's had the devil's own job to handle players running at him.
As the rain comes back, and it's absolutely pouring down as Luke Gale pumps the ball over the top of the crossbar. and the Castleford Tigers now have an 8-point lead.
Well, if Salford didn't learn it in the first half, they'd probably learn it again. The second time they've kicked the ball ineffectively. They haven't gained enough ground, they haven't had a team of chasers around it. And from the start of this set of possession, Salford were already under pressure. Luke Dawn and his team were into their opposition half, as we see a rainbow over the back of the stand here.
What was it doing?
Shining.
Shining.
That's what he was going to say.
Shadowing.
Can you give us the song? Somewhere over the rainbow? No? Okay.
You don't want to hear me sing.
This is Danny Tickle. Well, Salford have got some singing to do, really, to try and get themselves back into this game. They really are.
Well, that'll lift the spirits. That's great defence. They're trying to force the error. Psychologically, it's always a good time when you've conceded the try if you can apply the pressure. Sometimes the side that has scored just turns off just for a few moments.
Solid run again from Millington, though. Down he goes.
Oh, Josh, wait.
Milner to Luke Gale.
Kicking early.
And he's gone for a 40-20 as well there, and that's not a bad effort. Look where O'Brien has to pick the ball up from, and he runs it back as far as Oliver Holmes. More news from Hull KR.
Yeah, Warrington, Eddie, have woken up at last, and the most potent attack in the competition in terms of points scored. She's got a really good try. Matty Russell will be on the end of this in a moment. They needed to get back into the game. They go to the left-hand side, back to the right. It's many pairs of hands as well, and eventually Rhys Evans, their great combination with Westwood as well, and Russell will find his way to the line despite the intentions of Maurice Blair there. So Warrington back into this. The conversion just been missed, so Hull Kingston Rovers now their advantage trimmed to 10 points to 4.
10-4 then. They're in East Yorkshire. Here in Salford, as the rain is just bucketing down and sweeping into the faces of the Salford players.
I mentioned it before the game, 4 seasons in one day, and apparently the Salford players have told me that Martin Gleeson, a keen weatherman, had already prepared the team
but there's now
such conditions.
Barry, sorry, there is now an even more beautiful rainbow that is hanging over the Salford ground, just behind the post that Castleford are defending.
Has it got 6 competition points at the bottom of it? Because that's what Marlon Kukash will need, won't it?
You never know, do you?
Well, they realise the importance, and who knows, there may be a pot of gold there waiting for.
Look at that, that's the most vivid rainbow I've seen in years. Fantastic. You could do without the rain, to be fair, but there it is, the rainbow. It's fabulous.
If there is a pot of gold, the Salford will have to declare it on the salary cap.
Just send an email.
Yeah, just to, in case you're joining us, the appeal into Salford's 6-point deduction for alleged salary cap breaches will be heard next week. Risky offload by the Red Devils. Gale has pounced on it. This is Adam Milner. He's pushed away from 2. He can't get away from Sean Kenny, the young hooker who brought him down. Here is Gale again. He gets the ball to Paddy Flynn. That ball's hit the ground as well, and that ball's hit the ground as well. And that's going to be play on. That's going to be play on. 6 to go. 6 to go. Both of those fumbles went backwards.
Well, under those conditions, it's not surprising. It really did pour down.
Will that look forward from Holmes?
And
he has now lost that ball in the tackle. Has Junior Moores.
Eddie, that was a match and possibly season-saving tackle there then on Junior Moores. But Castleford score and extend from 8 points. I think this game's over for the Salford's perspective. They've kept the hopes alive for tonight and for the season here. With some tremendous defence, the supporters here are passionately trying to shout them along.
Well, Castleford have got to make sure don't give away a silly penalty. They got right back to the official. They've got to keep calm. That's a neat little kick over from Dobson, but it'll be a bit too strong.
It was an invitation from Mason Caton Brown to chase it down.
Well, as if things aren't as bad as they can be for Castleford, they've had players leave the pitch. They started this game with 4 players, 4 forwards on the bench. Luke Gale is just limping in background. You see him pick this ball up here, and after this passage of play, he picks a knock up, picks a bump up, and he's receiving some attention at the minute.
He's obviously got a problem with a leg injury of some description. He's obviously trying to run the problem off if he can. They can't really afford to lose him, having already lost McMeekin and Joel Monaghan early. Meanwhile, Danny Tickle hangs on 30 metres away from his own line and will play the ball to Milner. Here is Gadwin Springer. Ooh, big hit. Yeah. Big hit by George Griffin.
Now, Daryl Powell, early in the game, was kicking very, very early in the tackle count.
Go cricket, George!
But when he knows that there's a few players injured out there, they've got to just soak up.
Come on, George.
All the 5, then get the kick and chasing. And this is good tactics, that look forward.
And it was. The referee got the call from the sideline. Milner's pass to Danny Tickle.
It isn't a bad way to play the game. If you know you're down a few players, if you know you're struggling with players in certain positions, that's a forward pass for sure. To kick the ball, you know that players are going to lose grip, lose the grasp on the ball. And I wonder whether Powell is saying, let's play the long kicking game. Let's try and put our opponents under pressure and make them come away from their own line and force some mistakes.
Well, Salford have got half an hour to get themselves back into this, and 8 points is nothing. So the hope is springing eternal as Josh Jones goes down. Sean Kenny again scampering into dummy half, gives it to Murdoch Masilla. He runs straight at Milner, with a bit of help from Moores and Springer.
They've got to utilise.
Oh, he's lost the ball in a knock-on.
Oh, that's a shocker. I was just about to say that Salford should be looking for the fullback, Gareth O'Brien, to come outside on the centre position.
Well, up to this point in time, the handling for both teams has been very impressive. A low number of errors and handling mistakes, but I guess after that torrential 5-minute period there where the rain came down so heavy, it'll be a challenge here now for Salford to hold on to this ball well enough to score 2 or 3 times and win this match.
Guys, second row.
13 handling errors in the game, as you see. Castleford have made 7. That was Salford's 6th.
Okay, heads in.
And from the base of the scrum, Milner gives it to that man, Luke Dawn, again.
Michael, move!
He's always looking for work, isn't he? You know, he doesn't hang back.
Move!
Oh, there's a problem. Salford player, I can't see who it is.
Is it Griffin?
Yeah, I think it might be Griffin. He's hanging on to the side.
It's a clash of heads, I think.
There's 2 of them down.
Jordan Wall, I think, isn't it, from this angle?
It's bleeding and it's on the head.
Well, we've talked all night about Castleford's injury woes. This is a major problem here for the Salford Red Devils.
Bit of friendly fire.
I think it's Ben Murdoch Masala, isn't it, on the floor?
Masala,
boot involved in the side.
I think there might have been a stray knee, just goes straight onto him as it goes down.
Not land on a boot?
I don't know. Either way, both of them caught one.
There's been some casualties in this match.
Hasn't the just?
Second.
When players stay down,
it's worth a try.
and he's a big man, big powerful player, and one of the toughest, when players stay down of that stature, you know that they're hurt.
Yeah, and it looks like a rib cartilage there. And boy, they take some time to overcome. They'll be feeling that for several weeks.
Worrying times for Tim Sheens and Ian Watson. They remember, of course, they won 32-16 when they visited Castleford in March. Solomona 3 tries for Castleford. He's not here. Neither is Justin Carney. 2 tries that day for him. So some firepower missing. But Murdoch Masilla looks as though he's A-OK. Of more concern is the bang in the face that Waln received from his own player.
Sorry, Eddie, Adam Wall had blood coming from his mouth. Whether they've dislodged a couple of teeth, they're looking at his neck, and it's right and proper to take Adam Waln to assess him properly.
OK, we have more action coming now from Hull KR and Warrington, and the Warrington Wolves fight back look like it's on, Ben Pro.
That's right, Eddie. We're all locked up at 10 points apiece here. Great balance there from Brad Dwyer, right under the posts. Converted by Stephen Ratchford. 10 points apiece.
So 10 all up there here. 10 points to Salford, 18 to Castleford. And Waln is leaving the field because it was a bang in the face, and they obviously need to assess it.
George, push up, mate.
Meanwhile, play will resume with a play the ball by Oliver Holmes. Gadwin Springer again goes straight down the middle. Milner once more. Comes left and finds Massey.
Move, Ben! Hold!
And this is a good play, just slowing things down, the Tigers. They You know, they've got that 8-point lead, so that there's no catch-up as they're concerned. You know, Salford have got to test their arm a little bit more, ask the questions.
The last tackle, so the ball goes high off the boot of Luke Gale. Greg Johnson's underneath it.
They need him to be good on the kick chase then, Castleford. He can run. Greg Johnson. Wasn't it a good decision by Darryl Powell to change that front row? Really changed the dynamics of this game when the front row of Springer, Millington and Adam Milner came on at the same time.
Craig Kopczak, the Welsh international. He plays the ball to Sean Kenny. Here comes Josh Jones.
And he has been impressive for him, hasn't he, this year, Eddie? Josh Jones, I think, as he was a late recruit. They didn't really expect him to have him for 2016. He's made a difference and been good in many games.
Now then, can Junior South produce something here for Johnson? Well, he got the pass away, but what a good tackle that was from Jake Webster.
He read it so well, knew that the inside pass was on.
Dobson slides the kick all along the ground, bounces invitingly for Ben Crooks.
And again, good work.
And Sean Kenny, the youngster who is following up with the tackle.
Yeah, he puts himself about. He's certainly got a great future, that youngster.
No way through for Paddy Flynn, who gets to his feet and plays it to Gale. Tickle now for Castleford. Webster, will he have one of those blockbusting runs of his? Will he try to?
Well, they're taking a lot of work off the forwards as well, and they're doing the right thing. They're going to wait until the last, make sure they get the kick away, but this is good build-up.
And it went via Tim Holmes to Oliver Holmes. No relation, by the way. This is Gale, high off the boot of Gale.
Gathering of 10.
There's Johnson underneath it.
Yeah, just slipped at the vital moment. But again, the chase, pretty good from the Tigers. And they're going to really, you can see that the Tigers' defence is good. Out wide, they often refer to it as an umbrella defence. Look how they go through there, and they're forcing Salford into one out. And that's a key factor when you're in defence.
Dobson drops the pass off. And George Griffin, met by a solid challenge from Oliver Holmes.
You know, it's a credit to his conditioning and his discipline and professionalism. Oliver Holmes had all that time out. He played last week and he's played the majority of this game in the middle, on the edge, and now he's defending as a centre.
Last tackle here then, and it'll go off the boot of Dobson. And again, it's Ben Crooks who moved across to bring that ball forward.
That was crafty play by the centre as well, Ben Crooks.
10 metres.
Picked it out perfectly. Just gone astray slightly as the Salford kicking game. Michael Dobson, in these wet conditions, really keep the ball down, let it skim away.
Gale to Webster.
He's had a fantastic game, hasn't he? Remember, he picked up a knock that looks as though it looks like he's hurt it again.
He's been in the wars a bit tonight. He's hobbling away from that play. The ball is Webster.
I think it's a right ankle. He picked it up in the first half as well. So he's done well to continue on, and there's the big fella Springer looking to try to offload.
Hold!
Oh, it's a nasty ankle injury there for Webster. He's bravely trying to carry on. Up high off the boot of Luke Gale.
Gone down, Eddie. Webster.
O'Brien fumbles it. Gale puts him on his back. Goal line drop out.
It's a perfect kick from Castleford, but Jake Webster got Matty Prader in his ear saying, "We've got nobody else, mate. You'll have to crack on."
And I think he realises that as well. And it's he's a tough character. A real big error there by Gareth O'Brien, and he knows it. But great work there by Luke Gale. You know, we often discuss about Luke Gale and his ability when he's in attack, but you know, he chases and got down, and surely he can't continue on.
Okay,
he's going to be a passenger. Salford, I'm sure that Ian Watson will get the message out. We've got to pinpoint this fella, put him under a lot of pressure. Jake Webster.
Well, here's 6 tackles that could be the season for Salford. They have to hold out here and hope that they get a chance in the remaining 15 or 20 plus minutes. They haven't been near their opponent's line, haven't looked like scoring. for a long time, but they have to prevent tries as well as look to score them in the remainder of this match.
Springer again for Castleford. Only 2 tackles gone. They're inching ever closer to that Salford line. So here now with Massey. He gets to the 20-metre line. McShane, and he finds the young halfback Tom Holmes.
Oh, it was on.
The ball is then gobbled up.
Yeah, Luke Dawn once again coming in just outside on the centre. He pulled the winger towards him. It just wasn't a good pass in the end. It looks like there's a problem for Nathan Massey as well. You can see him, he's struggling to get back into the line. Well, talk about the Tigers in the war. There's the offload from Luke Dawn. Just didn't get to him in time.
Be fascinating, Eddie. We've said before the match, these two teams are contrasting weeks last week. Castleford played in a very hard game and lost in the cup at Wigan. Salford had a complete week off. Okay, they may have trained, but not the physical contact of a match. Now, who comes on the strongest in the last quarter?
Louis finds Logan Tompkins. He then slips the pass to Wada Haraki. Haraki bounces, but there's going to be a penalty here for a high shot that was spotted by James Child. The allowed advantage.
Well, they've got to kick, they've got to kick into the corner and put as much pressure on Jake Webster. He's just a passenger.
Jake Webster's just been taken off by Darryl Powell.
Well, that's a good best. That's a good move by the coach. He needed to.
Well, he's such a strong character, a strong individual, and a really important part of this Castleford side. They didn't want to take him off unless it was absolutely necessary. You see, it is absolutely necessary. As here comes Salford with Louis. He gives the ball then to O'Brien. They go wide, and Mason Caton Brown goes in for his first try of the season in only his second game of the season. He was injured in the win at Huddersfield on Easter Monday. It was his only Super League appearance in the last year. And he has come back here, obviously a little bit short of match practice to say the least, but Mason Caton Brown over for the try, and Salford are right back in this now.
Well, it's a great fight back, isn't it? But there's a problem, is that a little bit high, not about that. You see there, Gale was swinging in, there's good offload as well, but watch for the dummy runner again. Utilised him, pulls the winger in, and Caton Brown is in at the corner. Look how he misses it. You'll find there that Ben Crooks was left in no man's land. This is good pass. Crooks knows he's in the wrong position.
Nice try.
It's a great try. I thought there was a very good pass in difficult conditions by Mark Flanagan in the middle of the pitch, which held in the defenders and helped create the space. And I agree with you, Mike, the pass from Gareth O'Brien was brilliant. Be even better here now if he can add 2 more points.
Yes, can he? Can he add 2 more points, get them back to within 2 with 20 minutes of the game to go? And yes, he most certainly can. Well, players have been going down like 9 pins tonight. Let's get more injury news from Angela.
Well, you've just seen Jake Webster limping off. He's got into the tunnel and got into a set of crutches, I'll get that word out. And he tells me it's his right ankle. He just twisted it and he's in a little bit of pain there, but not quite sure. You can see there, oh, that's an awful fall on his ankle there. Bad news on Joel Monaghan as well. They tried to pop his shoulder back in, but couldn't. He's been taken to hospital. Mike Meakin, you've seen him up and down the touchline as well, limping. That's for the Salford side, and for the Castleford side. And Adam Waln as well is still having a concussion test. So injuries all over the pitch tonight.
Yeah, it's been a bruiser. There's no doubt about that. It really has. And indicative of the way the season's gone for so many teams this year, with these injuries mounting up all over the shop.
Eddie, as Salford approach this last quarter now, they have to show the same patience. They had moments of it, they had glimpses of it in the first half where they're playing the long kicking game, they're prepared to back the defence and make Castleford work hard. They've got forwards playing in the backs. They've had injuries left, right and centre, and they're in scramble mode now, Castleford. They're trying to just close ranks a little bit and simplify what they're doing. Till Salford let them, let's wait and see.
Towering kick that was from Robert Louis. Well pouched in the end by Luke Dawn. We've got a big game coming for you tomorrow from the south of France. The Catalan Dragons against Wigan. 5 minutes to 5. Sky Sports 1. All the fun of the party that the Catalan Dragons will be throwing to mark their 10th anniversary of being in Super League.
Well, the big question now is, do the Castleford Tigers have enough energy?
George, 10 metres.
There's so many injuries out there as well, and as you say, they're suffering with a lot of their stars off the field of play. And you can just sense that Salford just realise, okay, they're only 2 points adrift, but Salford are building in confidence.
Gale, though, will slide that kick all on the ground and finds touch on this near side.
The edges are vulnerable for Castleford. We've already seen there's a perfect kick from Luke Gale. We've already seen it was Lamb Patrick in the left centre for Cast Tigers. Now he'll be very dynamic with the ball. Will he have the right intellect to deal with those defensive decisions he'll have to make? We'll wait and see. Oliver Holmes is in the right centre for Cast Tigers. Ben Crooks, who began the game in the centre position, he's on the wing, so really having to dig deep here, Castleford Tigers.
Real battle still at Hull KR, 10 apiece. Hull KR down to 12 men. One red card in the match. Here, 2 points in it. Salford just trailing. Big night for both sides, bearing in mind the tribunal to come next week and Marwan Kukash's appeal against the 6-point deduction, which he is confident he is going to win and they're going to get their points back. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, quick play the ball from Salford and on that blind side. And they've had to rejig. I mean, it's a nightmare for the coach, Daryl Powell. Rejigging player. They've had forwards out on the wing and in the centres. But they're still tackling with a lot of venom.
This backs to the wall for both sides tonight in terms of injuries. Murdoch Masilla has put the ball down. It's Millington. We've got the free play on here.
Surrender!
And Tom goes down.
Wait.
Plays the ball here to McShane.
Nothing fancy now from the Tigers. Just get themselves into a pretty neat position. You can see there that wasn't the best offload there from Michael Dobson. Murdoch Masilla had no chance of getting that one.
Nathan Massey, he was struggling with an injury, we thought, not too long ago either. And so he goes down, tackle number 2. Castleford looking for a try that will give them a little bit of breathing space. Tom Holmes again gets the ball away to Dawn. And Mason Caton Brown held on to his shirt tails. Holmes once more. Here is Junior Moores. Moores trying to barge his way through the George Griffin.
And they'll be looking to see where Luke Dawn is now.
Holmes. Dawn was there, he gave it to namesake Oliver instead. This is the last one for Castleford. That's the try line that Salford are defending. Brilliant. The kick in, and it's very well claimed by...
Oh, we stole it 1-on-1.
Well, it was a 2-on-1 according to James Clare. Gareth O'Brien had the ball stolen after picking up the kick.
Well, it was very tight, wasn't it? Live, he saw it as 2 players going in. Freeze frame will probably show that it wasn't, but they got the penalty.
Yeah, Gale, perhaps just a second too early.
Well, a split second, I think. Split second.
Half a second then.
Salford won't be complaining because here they come. Josh Jones again, good ball to Greg Johnson. And he's going to go into touch. He's over the line. Great defence from Castleford. Great enthusiasm from Castleford.
Yeah, when you've got a prop forward, Lamb Patrick, way out on that left wing.
Well, he's going to be okay, Steve, if the people outside him, and on that occasion it was Paddy Flynn, as long as Paddy Flynn gets hold of him, then Patrick is going to be able to lend some weight.
He releases the ball before it goes down to play. What's the judgment here?
Well, I think he releases it, but it doesn't play. The Castleford player doesn't play at the ball, so it would still be a Castleford scrum from that.
That is great defence, okay. He tried to offload, did Johnson.
Come on, let's set up.
Couldn't get away with it. The ball has been deemed to have played the man, not the other way around.
Okay,
so they're hanging in there, the Tigers, that is for sure.
Scrum goes down, Tigers head and feed. McShane from the base, gives it to Oliver Holmes.
They've got to try to spread the workload. Tigers realise that they're running out of steam, which is not surprising how they've had to reassemble their attack.
Good little scampering run from Milner.
Keep coming, Craig. Wait.
Logan Tompkins stopped him in his tracks. Here is Luke Gale. Hunted down by Weller Haraki, finished off by Logan Tompkins.
Could have been
the ball
there.
Could have been. McShane gives the ball to Danny Tickle. Was there a collision off the ball there? Well, it's kicked forward by Paddy Flynn. It's a penalty. It is a penalty. There was a collision off the ball.
Well, I was just about to say that Tickle, well, he blew it, and you could see there that there's interference.
I think it's a hard call.
No, I don't think so. There's 2 or 3.
Oh, he's grabbed him. You can see that the left arm has gone right round him.
Yeah, he's just put his arms around him before the ball came to him. That's the penalty. You know, I think James Child would have a decision as well on the possible penalty try there, but he decided against it.
Yeah, and again, good work by Lam Patrick. Good support play.
Here's Nathan Massey now. Castleford are 5 metres away from the line. Paul McShane is the dummy half. He gives it to Milner.
Boy, that was close. He nearly slid over.
He nearly did, and Haraki did well to keep him the right side of the whitewash. Tom Holmes again. Brought down 10 metres away. Dawn, Millington. Played in a variety of positions this year as Grant Millington for the Castleford Tigers cause.
There's no panic needed now. The Tigers realise that. They're in a great position. Even if it gets to the last, just put the dinking into the in-goal area. They know that. They've got enough experience out there.
Good work from Robert Louis to hang on to the ankle of Luke Dawn. Luke Gale now. High crossfield kick. 0. Is that a knock-on? Oh, it's offside. Offside against Castleford.
Yeah, it was Tom Holmes was in front of the kicker and within the 10 metres, so even though the ball was still loose, the penalty goes to Salford.
It surprised me that they went for the high kick into the corner. We've been talking all night that it's wet conditions out there, it's very slippery. Just put the ball on the ground, you know, you might get the knock-on from the Salford player.
Kopjak brings it forward gamely towards the halfway line. Tompkins. And that's Adam Waln. Gets Salford over halfway. Logan Tompkins. Back it goes to Dobson. Did well to hang on to that. It was behind him. Gareth O'Brien. Junior Morse to him first. Millington to him second. Flanagan. Dobson. There's Robert Louis. Flicks the pass to Weller Haraki. Weller Haraki, the ex-Castleford forward, of course. Number 12 on his back for the Red Devils. Plays the ball to Tompkins. Louis. Back then to Dobson. Here is O'Brien. Stabs the ball in behind the defence. Ben Crooks with work to do.
Good
and he does it.
Good positioning by Crooks as well. Anticipated the kick into the corner, but as you can see, keep the ball down. It's always difficult to pick up. Oh, great defence.
Yes, good work it was from George Griffin. Oh,
that is a big error.
It is. Adam Milner's gifted the possession here. He's trying to make up for it by tackling Josh Jones, and he's missed him. And here's Josh Jones now. Here comes Salford.
He's had a great game as Josh Jones. He's worked hard throughout. Surely they're on the rack here.
Robert Louis trying to go inside Milner, and he penalises him for a high shot as he falls. Milner not the best couple of minutes in Adam Milner's night.
I'd take the 2, Eddie.
And they're going to do exactly that.
And you're right in front. It was a very lazy tackle, wasn't it, by Adam Milner?
Well, Steve, you and I were on social media at half-time from up here, and you predicted a drop goal that would win this match from Michael Dobson.
Yeah, but I said Michael Dawson. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, mate, I've done it.
I do know a Dawson back in Australia.
He was a long way from home.
I'm getting old, Eddie. Is he any good at drop goals? He's very good. He's very
Michael
good.
Dobson's not bad. You mean his mate, Dawson?
Dawson, yeah. He's very good.
Well, let me tell you, I've just been told by the man who has all the facts and figures at his fingertips,
Ian
Proctor, Salford have not dropped a goal all season, so it was a brave shout.
Well, we'll see it now. And instead
O'Brien's got to kick this first. He's bang in front, he should.
He'll get it, of course he will.
He does. Boots the ball actually out of the ground. All square with 9.5 to go. Tim Sheens, Ian Watson, Salford 18, Darryl Powell's Castleford 18.
Well, Brian Carney, my friend, isn't a bad judge. We sat before the game and he went through both teams. He said you just cannot pick on paper which of these two teams is the stronger. There's nothing really between them now. We've got less than 10 minutes here to find a winner.
And you know, they're all running on empty. There's some injuries and knocks and bumps and bruises. I think Castleford have come off the worst as far as that's concerned so far. They're gamely hanging on in there. This is Robert Louis, gets the ball away to Craig Kopchak, Junior Moores, Oliver Holmes, Tom Holmes all in there to try and hand him down. They do.
Well, the Tigers realise they've got to try to keep Salford within their own half. That looked a bit high.
It did. Logan Tompkins running laterally, gets the ball away to Weller Haraki. Down he goes. We've got some news coming in from Hull Kingston Rovers, Ben.
That's right, into the last 2 minutes here, Eddie, and Warrington have hit the front for the first time. Jack Hughes it is with the try. Look at the celebration. Are they closing in on second spot in the first Utility Super League ahead of Wigan's trip to Perpignan tomorrow?
Well, we'll see. That ball was made dead by Luke Dawn.
Was it moving? That's what the crowd had cheered. I think it was.
Listen,
certainly looked.
Here's another stat for you. There have been 33 Super League meetings between these two sides. Yes, it's still moving, just. 33 meetings between these two sides. Never, ever have we seen a draw.
George, wait.
But I don't think we'll see one tonight. Unless the defence from either side can just be as ruthless as it has been for the majority of this game.
Well, we're in drop goal territory shortly. There's no doubt about that. Junior Moore's great offload. Paul McShane. But solid defence now from Salford, keeping Castleford penned inside their own half.
Play the ball!
Look at Luke Dawn, he's furious. Oh, was that a little fumble? That could have been classified as a knock-on.
Gale gets it wide. Here is Paddy Flynn.
This is the last one.
Come on, keep coming. Wait.
Will they put it over the whitewash? That's what I'd be looking at.
No, he hoists it high and begins the chase with McShane. O'Brien's underneath it. Great hit by McShane. What a chase.
Looked like he was tackled in the air at one point.
Just got his foot down in time, didn't he?
Timed to perfection.
Yeah, there was only seconds in it.
Oh. You've got to be brave to play fullback, haven't you, in rugby league, eh?
You've got to be brave to play any position.
Well, you have, but I mean, even more brave. Yeah. Even more brave at fullback. You have to be a master of every trade and every trick in the book. All square then at Salford. 6 minutes to go. Dobson in possession. They want a penalty, Salford. It's not coming. Dobson, though, is hurt. He's gone down. They think that was a high shot.
So does he.
Let's just be clear here, Stuart. Can a replay here lead to a penalty, or is that not allowed in the rules?
Well, the video referee can give that input now. They can inform the referee that something's happened, and then be up to the on-field referee to decide what he's going to do with that information.
Does he just pass the info on? He's not asked to have a look. He just passes the info on.
Well, I think James Child has asked for some input from it, so he's obviously going to give that information.
Stuart, I get the impression that the first impact was on the chest and then it finished it in the face.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, that might be the difference between how you're going to end up, deciding whether it's going to be a sin bin or not. Certainly the first impact's on the chest, but there is contact with the head.
OK, Michael Dobson needing some treatment. We've got drama at Hull. Let's get there and hear from Ben Pro.
Yes, Eddie, I thought Jack Hughes had won it for Warrington, but this kick from Albert Kelly, it's Ian Thornley that will go over for Hull Kingston Rovers in the end, and it's all locked up at 16 points apiece, converted by Ben Cockayne inside the last 2 minutes, I think, here. 16 points apiece.
So 16 all at Hull KR, 18 all here. They're looking for a big finish, and here Salford, in the shape of Gareth O'Brien, have decided that after that high tackle has been given, they will take the kick at goal, and Ian Watson on his way down to the sideline. This is a massive, massive kick for Salford and Gareth O'Brien.
Well, Ian Watson wasn't a bad kicker himself. Drop goals or penalty goals, he could get them over. He's hoping now with a 75% conversion tonight. Do you know what? Most of the kickers now in Super League, if they are 20 metres in from either side, which is exactly where Gareth Bryan is, they generally strike them over, although the distance on this is a challenge.
And the wind, I think I'm right in saying, is against him, because we saw the rain driving into Salford's faces earlier on, unless it's dropped considerably. Here is Gareth O'Brien. This is on its way. He's kicked it! Gareth O'Brien kicks Salford into the lead with 5 minutes remaining. And what a priceless penalty goal that could be.
Well, Tom Holmes, he gave away the penalty. The impact was on the chest, but as Stuart Cummins said, it made contact with the head in the end, and what a wonderful pressure kick from the fullback Gareth O'Brien. He's been superb for Salford.
So the penalty given on the intervention of Joe Cobb, the video referee, after James Child asked him just to adjudicate.
Ooh, that looked like there's a little bit of a knock-on, but he claims, does James Child, that it went backwards. Well, this is up the jumper time, isn't it? But you just get the feeling that Castleford will have at least one set of 6.
Junior Sow gets to the 30-metre line. Castleford desperate to keep them inside their own half as they reach the 5th. But here goes Gareth O'Brien looking for a 40-20. It's a great kick, this. It's a fantastic kick, this. Paddy Flynn picks up on his own line.
And look at the chase, Eddie. It's outstanding. Flanagan leading the way.
He was, and there's a lot of Castleford players plodding their way back. Full time at Hull KR. It's ended all square there. It's not all square here anymore with 4 to go. The Red Devils are ahead by 2 points. And that's the 3rd tackle this set of 6. They're not over halfway yet. Gale come wide, and Tickle goes down. They're over halfway now.
Will they do something different? Little chip over the top.
You asked for that on social media half-time as well.
I know. You never know. Come on.
Luke Dawn, Oliver Holmes, wide to Ben Crooks. Oh, he flings this ball out, and well, he's trying to throw the ball back because he knew he was on his way to the whitewash anyway.
Yeah. It was pretty tight on this blind side here, and he knew it. They had the numbers.
Yeah, he knew he was going over the whitewash, so it's nothing he could do about this.
No, Junior Sow as well here, doesn't he? That is good ball and all tackle.
Well, his team won here by 2 points last year. At this stage, they're going to lose by 2 points this year. Although his side has not given it up. They formed the scrum quickly. The referee stopped the clock, as you can see. We've still got just over 3 minutes to go. They're going to get the ball back, I would imagine, Mike. They've got a chance still.
Well, it's been a wonderful effort, hasn't it? I mean, both sides have had trouble with injuries on the field of play, but you'd have to feel sorry for the Tigers. They've had so many influential players had to leave.
And of course, they came here on the back of a 3-match losing streak, so this won't do them any favours at all. And if Salford get any reward from their appeal next week, Castleford could be dragged back into the mix to avoid the scramble of the middle 8s.
Yeah, and Widnes will be in a little bit of trouble too.
Depends how many, if any, points Salford get back. But Marwan Kukash, before the match, was absolutely convinced that he has the evidence to have this punishment overturned.
Well, if any team know that a game goes for 80 minutes, it's Ian Watson's Salford. Don't forget, we came here and watched them play against Warrington. And in fact, I think 80 minutes had actually gone, hadn't it? As the drop goal went over, they lost by a single point. This team know they have to play for every single second.
Yeah, they've been on the end of some close run things in terms of defeats.
Well,
can they get a close run thing in the terms of a victory?
Well, I've often said it, haven't I? When you get head and feet at the scrum, you're deep in your own territory. They don't have a fullback. Is it worth having a kick and send Luke Dawn racing down, chase it? That's what I'd be doing, but it's very rare in this modern-day rugby league game.
Well, I think Ian Watson has just realised that is the case, that Salford are without a full-back, because I think he's sending the message on for somebody to drop back.
Let's go.
As the scrum is fed.
Well, one of the wingers is now dropping back, but it's...
Wait!
It looks like O'Brien is taking that position.
Gone back there now, yes.
Yeah,
he's in the full-back role now.
The opportunity's gone in it. I would have taken the gamble, but I'm not the coach.
Holmes. Oh, and that was a good ball looking for, and Finding Danny Tickle.
Good tackle though by Mark Flanagan. He really has worked hard, Flanagan.
This is Junior Moores.
And so has this guy.
Ooh, that's a bit of a risky pass. But he held on to it well, did young Tom Holmes.
Got to keep it alive.
Milner gets the ball away to Luke Dawn. Dawn then turns the ball back to Lauren Patrick. Not tackled. Oh, he said play on, it's a penalty. He shouted play on. Lauren Patrick thought he was tackled. He wasn't. And the referee shouted at least twice, play on. He had no option but to give the penalty. See, not tackled, play on. That could be costly. That could be the game.
Not only that, Eddie, I think because of the penalty, but it was definitely a knock-on. I think he fumbles it as well.
Where we have a flaw in the rules, though, here is had he run off and the referee had determined the tackle had been completed, he'd say go back and play the ball. You get a second chance. You don't on that occasion. That's another one of those issues that the game needs to tidy up. But he won't be too bothered here. His team have got possession in less than 50 seconds.
Just noticed the camera was trained on him. Big smile so far from Marwan Kukash. Big day coming up on Wednesday for him. Big night here for his players because they're hanging on to a 2-point victory and we're in the last 30 seconds. It surely is safety first now.
Yeah, up the jumper time and then just kick it out of the ground. He knows it. Ian Watson.
Logan Tompkins, Wella Huraki. Halted by Lauren Patrick and Danny Tickle. Oh, glum, isn't he? Darryl Powell really glum-faced. Could be 4 defeats in a row here. That's a high shot. That's the game.
It's all over.
That's the game. They'll go for the 2. It doesn't matter whether they get it or not. The match is won by Salford and Darryl Powell's agony continues. 4 straight defeats now.
Yeah, it wasn't the best there, was it? Danny Tickle throwing the arm.
Well, if he needed any encouragement going in to the big meeting on Wednesday, tonight has provided it for Marwan Kukash.
Well, we said before the kick-off, Eddie, that, you know, this could be an 8-pointer, and as you say, they get the 6 points back, it will be an 8-pointer. But I mentioned that they had to go out Salford with the knowledge as though they'd already got those 6 points. And boy, there's a few teams in and around the middle of the top 8.
They'll be worried tonight, they really will. O'Brien's either got to kick this or at least kick it dead, otherwise Castleford could go the length of the field. It's unlikely, and it's not going to happen.